Fashion is all about the here and now. What's a must-have one year can look extremely dated the next. Go back on the fashion timeline for a look at some of yesterday's most memorable collections with the year in fashion. 2013 saw the fashion community celebrating fantastical fashion moments, hailing sensational comebacks, marking political milestones, and surmounting unexpected misfortunes. In a year with many newsworthy memories, creativity was at its zenith. At Alexander McQueen, designer Sarah Burton offered a wasp-waisted sweet escape for spring 2013.
This collection was so delicious. It was like the most delicious summer day of your life.
Master milliner Philip Treacy presented a collection of headwear inspired by Michael Jackson and by Lady Gaga, who opened the show. Fellow designers and famous faces were on hand to support Hedi Slimane and his highly anticipated runway debut for Saint Laurent.
It was very sexy. I'm so impressed with everything. I'm still a little shocked.
New York City got punked with the Metropolitan Museum of Art's latest fashion exhibition. Julien Macdonald returned to London Fashion Week with a Sin City sensibility.
It's a little bit like Sex in the City. That gang of girls all going to Las Vegas for a weekend.
Oscar de la Renta crafted a fall collection that was full of youthful energy and an exciting collaboration in the design room.
We saw the fruits of an interesting collaboration this season when Mr. de la Renta invited John Galliano to take up a sort of informal residency in his studio.
Thom Browne spun a romantic tale around classic tailoring and got a big boost from First Lady Michelle Obama.
So honored, so humbled by her choosing mine amongst so many really good designers that she works with.
After being personally affected by Hurricane Sandy, Marc Jacobs offered clothes with comfort in mind for winter.
I found myself, like many other people, sort of homeless after Sandy, and I certainly was not in a good mood. So we looked at things that we were comfortable with.
And there's much more coming up in the Year in Fashion 2013. Stay tuned.
Oh, I think Sarah Burton is just brilliant. And what's amazing about her, in the same way which was true of Alexander, this label is completely in its own universe. But it's connected to our universe, and that's what's so incredible. This collection was so delicious. It was like the most delicious summer day of your life, and you fall asleep, and you have this wild and crazy dream, and a bee bites you, and that's how you wake up. It was really like that, you know? It was so delicious to look at, but it had its sting.
Is there any wonder there's so much buzz around this collection, literally and figuratively? The idea of beekeepers and, of course, honeycombs throughout the entire collection. I'm loving all the bustiers that were actually a fantastic jacquarded honeycomb that topped a honeycomb lace. And the interesting use of amber, almost tortoiseshell, that was worked inside of a bustier, and also as cuffs on many of the models that were studded with Napoleonic bees that looked like honey against the skin.
Oh my God, it was beautiful. I think every time you come here and look at a Sarah Burton collection, it's just ravishing. I mean, I've looked at the brocade, the tortoiseshell, the way that she constructs everything, the corsetry. I mean, it really is art, the way that she does this. I mean, it's clothes, but it's so incredibly imagined.
I think that she's such an amazing craftswoman, and she sort of digs so deep in her ideas, and I thought that the bee was a nice connection with other things that Alexander McQueen was interested in towards the end of his life, so I appreciated that.
I particularly loved the amazing cage effect of a corset, which is something we see here at Alexander McQueen by Sarah Burton often, that were over the top of a jacket or a bustier, and then a cage skirt that was topped with beautiful soft chiffon with interesting ruched banding that went all the way around the skirts in either a beautiful beige or a honey yellow. It's wildly creative. It makes us dream, it's a fantasy, and their clothes customers love to buy and collect.
The McQueen show this year for me just felt a lot lighter. I loved all the honeycomb idea of the print that was sort of explored in sort of varying degrees of transparency in lace and different embroidered, technically beautiful things, you know, brought a much lighter, optimistic feel to it, which I loved. I loved it so much.
And I think what Sarah's really done is taken the essence of McQueen and what Lee did and really keep moving it forward in a way that's very, I look at this and I know people are going to think I'm crazy, but there's something very accessible about the way that she's approaching the McQueen collection every single season. As fantasy as it is for a lot of different women, there is actually really great clothes and great silhouettes in there.
Evolving constantly, which I think, it's becoming more and more feminine, which I love. And you feel like it is really her now, still respecting the house. I think a lot of the problem with a lot of the shows that take on the names of other brands is there's such a little sort of consideration for what came before. I think, no, you're not supposed to replicate, but it's brilliant to consider what came before and evolve beyond that, but still keeping the sort of essence of the person who was there, The sentiment was brilliant. It was so good.
What I think is amazing about Prada is just a constant invention. And I really think that Mrs. Prada is so good at summing up what's happening in our society. As the economy is so difficult here in Italy, she produced a very sensitive and sensual collection. It was all based in flowers. And you had a feeling of such a sensitive, female, romantic touch. It was very beautiful.
Well, I think she was really interested in, she said, in exploring dualities like the demands on women's lives in a modern world versus their kind of desires and their femininity, and that happened to get expressed in flowers and structure, which ended up looking quite Japanese.
I love the direction she took last night with her inspiration from Japanese culture, mainly the geometry, the use of origami, the interpretation of the kimono, the obi sash.
Very black and white, but with a bit of a chinoiserie and at times almost a geisha attitude. Kimono jackets that wrapped and tied with a photo print of a daisy or a dandelion, little envelope short skirts. And of course a very geisha shoe on a wide platform. Interesting how we're seeing a little bit of Eastern influence here when we're in Italy.
Mrs. Prada is always about mood and emotion. I think she really is constantly thinking on how to invent fashion and push fashion forward. And I'm always surprised because one season she will be saying it's all about pants, and yet this season when it came to Prada, it's like, well, pants, no, it's not about pants anymore. It's all about short and shorts, and it's about the sensuality of the fabrics, all the satin, all the pretty flowers.
The use of the flower, which is a symbol of delicacy and femininity, except for there was a strength also in the collection that she had a very strong, deliberate point of view. And so the juxtaposition of that fragility, the fragility of the flower and the beauty and the strength of the geometry made for a really innovative collection.
She loves that combination between romantic and quite strict, between soft and hard. I think that's what she's so clever at, is understanding that's how real women want to dress. They want to be able to put a look together that says everything about their personal style. She's first and foremost a woman designer, designing clothes, in this particular case, for women.
In New York, the Plaza Hotel's Eloise Boutique was the perfect backdrop for the launch of Anna Dello Russo's playful accessories line for H&M. The style icon and renowned fashion editor was at first surprised by the H&M proposal.
When H&M called me, I was quite surprised because I'm a fashion insider and it never happened before. They used to have a collection done by fashion designers. After the surprise, I understand completely the message because they're always looking for new message, new things, a new way to communicate fashion.
H&M is always looking for something new to surprise our customer. When we were going into the collaboration, of course, we wanted Anna's vision. She's such a style icon.
You know what you need? You need a fashion show. You know what
H&M marked the collaboration with an extended version of Anna's viral video, Fashion Shower, which also highlighted her accessories collection.
Love music.
I said, oh, I love to do a dance, I love to do music, I love to do a song. For H&M, I said, I want to do some fun. I will do an ascending version of a fashion shower.
You need the fashion shower.
I came up with this idea to do accessory collection because I thought in the mass market it doesn't exist. The beautiful accessories well done. It's starting from the suitcase and thinking about our life, which is a little bit gypsy of fashion, but also carry all what you need to have a glamorous world.
Anna loves things that are glamorous, over the top. You know, I would say it's really statement pieces. It's show-stopping.
Absolutely fashion. Absolutely fashion.
Everything has to be visible since 5 kilometers. This is the bracelet. I like to put also together, but also this is the earrings. And this is good because this is a belt.
You did the right choice.
Wonderful. Anna's a great friend of mine. I really love her style, her taste, her sense of humor, and her collection is really incredible. You know, there's a lot of gold. It's part of her DNA.
Gold, sumptuose, excess.
When I designed this collection, I was thinking about my message, which is opulent, excessive, extraordinary, fun.
Fabulous at every age.
It's breaking the rules. Your rules is breaking the rules.
Nothing succeeds like excess.
In London, a true fashion moment hit the catwalk as master milliner Philip Treacy presented a collection of headwear inspired by Michael Jackson and also by Lady Gaga, who opened the show.
It felt like the old days, but better in London at Philip Treacy. Such an incredible impact and surprise to see all those girls coming out in those Michael Jackson jackets for a start. To see Philip's imagination in full flood, an astonishing headpiece on every single girl.
It was astonishing, yes, really incredible. It was so exciting to see a show after a decade and see a show that had that much energy and vitality and a real sense of London at its most thrilling and upbeat.
The audience was star-studded. There was a sort of line-up A to Z of all the great designers of British culture were there. I saw Catherine Hamlet, I saw Anthony Price, Judy Blame, many, many greats of London fashion. I mean, it couldn't have happened anywhere else other than London.
Such beautiful, extraordinary, inventive headwear, you know, it was remarkable.
You know, Philip goes back, I think I first met him in the late 80s when he was starting up. And of course, his relationships with Isabella Blow and Alexander McQueen were vital and central to his development. Both of them pushed him to go into the sort of realms of the surreal. But while doing that, of course, he's got a very big business in dressing society ladies.
I mean, all the elements were great, and it's so wonderful that designers like Philip and Stephen Jones have taken an industry that was kind of moribund and taken it in such an exciting 21st century direction.
Amazing. Hedi, back in fashion.
The anticipation was high for the Saint Laurent show, and for his first collection for the house, Hedi Slimane did not disappoint.
It's the new cool girl uniform. He is the one to watch. It's all about a skinny tuxedo pant, a leather jean, a really super sleek cut jacket, be it a Spencer jacket that we'd expect to see in the Saint Laurent show, menswear tailoring that Saint Laurent made very famous.
Oh, I thought it was a wonderful collection. I am crazy for a phenomenal fitting jacket and pants, and he showed plenty of it.
I think it was a wonderful, very, very good show.
Just the style and the point of view was amazing. It was so good.
It's really how the cool girl wants to dress. It's going to be very influential. It's the new uniform, amazing blouses in white or black and white that had a ruffle detail that went down the front, and at the cuff with beautiful big black jabots at the necks. Even the fedora hats that had a big 70s floppy brim to them.
It was very sexy. Just, I'm so impressed with everything. I'm still a little shocked by it. It was wonderful.
I'm really excited to see that Hedi, who can have a very severe tailoring many times in his collections, went to a little bit of a romantic side, and I thought it was really welcome.
There was definitely the spirit of Saint Laurent in the collection, but also you could see a lot of the influence of California. I found it extraordinary. I really loved it.
I thought it was brilliant. Very Saint Laurent.
I think what Hedi's done is sort of reimagined, taken the classics, like the greatest hits of what YSL is about, and sort of transition them in the way that he can do. I mean, I think when you're looking at this is collection number one, you know, and it's going to be about evolving and seeing what the rest of the seasons and ultimately everything that he does moving forward is going to be. But I think for the first foray out, it was great. It was an interesting way to see how he saw Saint Laurent.
Really nice, strong collection from him for the first season. Girls are going to want those clothes yesterday. They are super cool, and we're going to see them all over the streets. It's a collection that's going to go catwalk to sidewalk, 60s to 0. It's amazing. Good job from him.
Wonderful, extraordinaire, amazing. I love the show. The greatest show I've ever seen since Saint Laurent's day.
Every year, the Costume Institute at the Metropolitan Museum of Art throws a celebrity-filled gala to fet their latest fashion exhibition, and this year the fashion crowd celebrated the anti-fashion movement, punk.
It's anti-fashion, it's anarchy, it's revolt. I think it's, you know, it swings back and forth between wanting to be elegant and then wanting to be contrarian. And fashion has always done that.
Freedom.
a certain kind of freedom to just get out of your everyday normal wear and fantasize and become what you want.
Punk is everything that you shouldn't do, but do anyway.
Punk for me is really just an attitude of just being yourself and being true to yourself and being on your own and just going for it.
Yeah, that's it. Punk means to be different. That's why, you know, I try wear some different color, but I thought somebody else gonna be, you know, wear different color too, but unfortunately, seems like all the guys, they are wearing blacks. So unfortunately, I'm the only one who wears like different color. It's kind of awkward right now.
Vivian made me this dress out of wild rubber from the Amazon, which I think is pretty punk.
It's Philip Treacy. It's lace that he has painted gold, and it's simply not feathers, but so it weighs nothing.
It's a classic, you know. It's just a style. I mean, now it's like Chanel. What Vivienne Westwood did for punk is like what Chanel did for like a tweed jacket.
And in true rebel style, it was more about the message for the grand dame of punk, Vivienne Westwood.
They don't know I am that lot, you know. No. I've got some brilliant jewellery here. It's my brooch. I'm here to support Bradley Manning. That's the most important thing I want to say.
Inside the museum, the exhibition examined punk's origins, starting with two recreations, Vivienne Westwood and Malcolm McLaren's 1970s boutique Seditionaries, along with the inside of the former CBGB's men's room, and then on to galleries explaining how the fashion world expanded on punk themes.
I've always felt as if punk, more than any other subcultural movement, changed the face of fashion. It's really the only movement that prioritize the idea of the individual, prioritize the idea of creativity. And I think that in terms of fashion, where you're seeing this idea of innovation, you see it most clearly now on the runways. We start off with some original garments by Marc McLaren and Vivienne Westwood, who are the two designers who in a way crystallized and commodified the punk look in London in the early 70s. So we wanted to ground what you see afterwards in the original punk look of the mid-70s. Every gallery is arranged in various manifestations of the DIY style, or the idea of do-it-yourself. So we have one section called Hardware, which looks at designers who've co-opted chains and safety pins and stars, the more formalistic aspect of punk.
Well, I'm really, as you can see, a colourful print designer, so for me it was a wonderful contrast to suddenly go into black, white and use chain and beaded safety pins and see those as decoration in themselves and not just as hardware.
We have a section called Bricolage, which looks at designers who have used found objects and incorporated them into their clothing and created new meanings and new context for those objects. And graffiti, which is, in a way, probably is the most self-evident expression of the punk aesthetic in terms of spraying and using your clothing really as a vehicle for political devices.
This dress is actually mine. It's actually made for me in, I think it was 1982. It was my prom dress because my stepmother, Jade Hobson, worked at Vogue, and Jade basically gifted me with Stephen Sprouse this amazing dress.
Well, this is a sequin graffiti dress with the matching tights. It was from Stephen's collection from 1984, and we acquired it probably about 15 years ago when people were kind of basically throwing his stuff out. So we got it for, I don't know, like $100. And here it is at the Met.
And lastly, Destroy, which to me is the probably the greatest legacy of punk on high fashion, the idea of deconstructionism, the idea of rips and tears as being a symbol of beauty rather than a symbol of poverty. Punks were very heroic. They were so brave. They didn't care what people thought about them. They changed what we meant by beauty. It was really an anti-fashion movement, and a movement that, in a way, celebrated ugliness rather than what we mean by beauty. Everyone loves a rebel, I think, and punks were the ultimate rebels. what I wanted to do was to highlight a time in our fashion history that celebrated individuality, that celebrated creativity, where fashion was all about self-expression. And it was really simply as that, was to celebrate this extraordinary movement that in a way changed not just the fashion landscape, but our cultural landscape in general.
Well, I think the thing that's so exciting about Thom Browne is the theatricality. And to see this in America, which, you know, is usually a very straightforward runway show, here we get incredible presentations, we get incredible visions, we get incredible, almost a European sensibility. So it's very exciting, and you never know what you're going to see.
It was really just the color red and roses coming in, and also this somewhat insane world kind of playing into it.
The kind of creativity, the way he twists and warps this whole ivy wasp aesthetic is really, really transgressive and appealing. And that's the thing, it's also very chic. I mean, it works in that classic waspy way, and yet it's also a total perversion of it, which is so fabulous.
I love his aesthetic. You know, I love the clean lines, and I love the whimsical nature of it.
I exaggerated the hips and the shoulders because I wanted the waist to look even smaller. And especially because I do such tailored clothing mostly, which I love, I wanted it to look very feminine on the girls.
I love the fact that he pushes the envelope with his designs and that everything is very structured, and it was very classic menswear inspired women's wear, but with a very feminine twist to it. You saw like hand-placed pieces of lace on the jackets, and just very structured shoulders, very exaggerated.
I love collections when they have a lot of layers to them, and you almost don't see it all at the beginning. You have to keep looking at it, and the front and the back, there's a different experience, so there's a lot of attention to all that.
I thought it was a really strong collection that really showed his great skill at tailoring. It showed his connection to menswear, but there was also a lot of romance to it.
The Michelle Obama thing was so exciting because obviously Tom's known for menswear, so to see the First Lady step out in his women's wear designs was just phenomenal. And to me it said, wow, this guy has a business, and this is really, really going to catapult him.
So honored, so humbled by her choosing mine amongst so many really good designers that she works with. So yeah, an amazing experience I'll remember for the rest of my life.
He's got a very, very clear vision, and it's a very strong, focused vision, and I think that's what makes him so important.
People throw around art and fashion. This is where it really, really makes sense.
I wanted to see really strong tailored clothing on girls that look very feminine, but also look very interesting and provocative.
The hair at Fendi is very graphic today. It's fun. There's a little bit of a punk mohawk going on. We've done the girls with braids, very tight braids, cornrows from the center of the front of the head all the way down the back. And we're pinning some dyed fox fur just to exaggerate the mohawk kind of feel. The collection has very strong silhouettes, and I think we just wanted to push the silhouette of the hair a little further. It's not necessarily matching the collection, it just offsets. It's almost like a hair hat.
Well, at Fendi we're doing like a combination of a retro lip and a bit of a punk mood.
So Carl briefed Kiki de Montparnasse, which is a famous iconic beauty from the 20s, 30s. It had a very specific shape of lip and color of lipstick. So we took that one in combination with the mohawk. It becomes a bit more punkish. Color-wise, I used a deep purple for nails and for lips, La Provocante Rouge Allure Velvet on the lips, and bare eye, little darker eyebrow, matte skin. That in combination with the fringe from the mohawk, gives a bit of like a chic, punkish look.
The clothes are very glitzy, very beautiful, very Julien. What we've done, it's like a girl that's been out on the town, she's coming back at 6 o'clock in the morning. We're pulling the front out, you know, like it's fallen out. We're using the matte and messy soot spray, that'll give you the dry, sort of nasty texture. It's a combination between dry and wet, sweaty and cool.
Think grunge deluxe. So it's all about this grey eye. It's really hard, sort of grungy, very British.
I'm so excited to be back. I never really went anywhere, but you know what? I'm back, and I'm back with a big golden sparkling bang. The Las Vegas woman is any woman who goes on holidays with her friends. It's a little bit like Sex in the City. That gang of girls all going to Las Vegas for a weekend. You take your best clothes, you dress up, you want to meet millions of men, and you want to have a good time. I went on holidays there last year. I had an amazing time. I went to every single nightclub. I went to every hotel. I saw it. I loved it. I said, this is my kind of woman. A woman that goes somewhere, dresses up, and parties all night. These are clothes for any woman who wants to be glamorous and sexy and wants to be special, who wants to stand out in a room.
It was amazing, loads of amazing dresses. The gold ones with all the cut-out kind of mesh bits, the really short ones as well. I loved the yellow dress. There was loads that I loved.
Incredible, yeah, really inspiring. Oh my goodness, just so many sequins. What girls don't love sequins? Beautiful, really lovely.
We were blown away, weren't we? It's definitely been my favourite show so far. It was like a proper show.
Really, really nice. And we definitely looked at loads of outfits and thought we would, love to wear them.
A red bodysuit, wasn't there, with all like tassels hanging off, and we were like, that would be great on tour.
I think the bodysuit is the new dress for me. Because at the end of the day, not all women want to wear dresses. Some women really hate their legs. Like, oh no, I don't want to wear a dress. And I think a bodysuit liberates a woman and makes her just as sexy, but in a different way. It's a very kind of a cool rock and roll attitude. I find it challenging every day. I never went to bed last night. I was beading, sequining, even tying the shoelaces before the models went on. It never stopped. It's like a roller coaster that goes on and on and on.
At Lincoln Center's Alice Tully Hall at the 2013 CFDA Fashion Awards, also known as the industry's Oscars, one could wonder how many talented designers, supermodels, and dazzling celebrities would fit on the red carpet.
I went through the red carpet line just because there were so many good celebrities like coming up, passing by. Kerry Washington looks amazing. There's Sofia Vergara's coming through. Oh God, so many celebs have passed by. So it's going to be a really awesome evening.
Well, my sister's going to be here, Rooney, so I'm excited to see her.
Actually, I saw Dan Stevens. He was right in front of us. I couldn't figure out who he was, from Downton Abbey, which is a show I love. I'll be missing him on it, so that's exciting.
I always say, I love being an actress and it's my love, but I think that the fashion industry does better events. I'm sorry, Acting World, but they do.
It's our Academy Awards. There's no question that you don't come. It's supportive of the talent, the industry, the whole kit and caboodle.
It is quite prestigious and it is quite an honor. For the younger designers in the Swarovski Emerging Designer, it's much like Hollywood and the Academy Awards.
And just like the Oscars, it was all about who they were wearing.
I am wearing Givenchy. It's the new collection that's coming out in a week, so this is basically a debut.
It's a Calvin Klein tuxedo. What can I say? Midnight blue. So yeah, I like it.
Rachel designed and made this beautiful thing for me. It's a leather cutout, which is stunning and very comfortable. I feel great. I was just blessed to be here with you, Gal. I feel so glamorous. It's definitely exactly my style. I love how tight the arms are, the back is sheer. Yeah, I've really been enjoying tonight so far.
The night only got better in anticipation of former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton bestowing the legendary Oscar de la Renta with a Founders Award for his distinct 50-year impact on fashion.
Oscar de la Renta has spent his whole life looking forward, marrying classic style with contemporary edge, always working tirelessly on behalf of this industry he loves. So for many reasons that you understand as well as I, please join me in welcoming our friend and a great American, Oscar de la Renta.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I am unbelievably honored to have my great friend, I can call her my best friend, Hillary, to present this award to me tonight. This has been a long road, and you know, I have to tell you that I hope that for all of us, and perhaps she would not like me to say this, I hope that she's going to be our next president.
And the accessories designer of the year is Philip Lim, 3.1 Philip Lim.
Accessories is new to us, and it's like it's a boost because it's like maybe we're doing something right.
And the menswear designer of the year is Thom Browne. Thank you very much.
I've had a really good year, and there's a lot of people that work with me, so it's not just for me, it's for everybody that I work with.
Emerging designers Max Osterweiss and Aaron Beatty Forsuno clinched the Swarovski Award for women's wear.
I don't think we expected this.
I didn't expect this at all.
It is an honor just to be nominated, and then to win is a real recognition from our peers and mentors and heroes.
An elegantly stunning Jessica Chastain was on hand to present Riccardo Tisci with the prestigious International Award.
Wow. I want to thank CFDA, Anna Winter, Givenchy, and my team.
The women's wear designer of the year is Jack McCullough and Lazaro Hernandez, Proenza Schooler.
Thank you, CFDA. You guys started our careers 10 years ago, and these last 10 years have been a dream and a fairy tale.
I mean, it's just overwhelming. Just to know that people are still liking what we're doing and they're supportive of us and that we're still kind of evolving.
Equally moved, the acclaimed Vera Wang received the Lifetime Achievement Award from friend and mentor Ralph Lauren.
Vera, I'd like to present the Jeffrey Bean Lifetime Achievement Award to you.
This is even more overwhelming than I thought it would be. How do you define a lifetime? Looking back can be both difficult and diminishing.
It's the ultimate compliment, I think, and when it involves an entire body of work, that makes it even more significant, particularly when you're being honored by your peers. And by that I mean designers, retailers, stylists, creative directors, show producers, hair and makeup, photographers. It's an entire industry that's voting for you. So it doesn't get better than this.
I think acknowledging your peers for all the work you do is quite wonderful. And I think that's really what it's about. It's about acknowledging, for an amazing job done.
Everybody was amazed to see what happened at Oscar de la Renta. I mean, both as a collection and also as a news moment. We saw the fruits of an interesting collaboration this season when Mr. de la Renta invited John Galliano to take up a sort of informal residency in his studio. Nobody really knew what we were going to see, and I think a lot of us assumed that it was going to be a much more quiet role. But the clothes on the runway really did reflect somewhat of a vision that we associate with John Galliano, certainly in the styling of the clothes. Even in the belts on those opening numbers that were wrapped around and tied rather than buckled, that's a Galliano trademark. So people are reading this as a sign of interest in making a comeback on Galliano's part.
I liked it a lot. I didn't think Galliano designed very much of it. I thought 90% was Oscar. But I thought the edit, the styling was very Galliano. The old Egyptian eye, the waxy hair, the mesh gloves with the bracelets in gold and crystal, the cloche hats. It made Oscar look very cool and new.
There was a lot to see, and Oscar certainly knows his woman, as always. Big drama, which we expect from Oscar, and love. There are certainly beautiful pieces. You expect the color, which is always big, and there's a lot of drama there, so there was a lot to love.
What an evening at Oscar de la Renta. It's a very pretty show. Did love all that kind of like draped leather. It's a 365-day-a-year proposal anymore. We can wear it for spring, we can wear it for fall. And I like how Oscar played with the idea of volume on the top and then back to that really strict pencil skirt. A pencil skirt is going to be paramount to give a woman the look that she wants for the fall season. Really beautiful capes at Oscar de la Renta too, in chiffon, and he did beautiful embroidery around the armhole and then accented them with the same color jewelry and big oversized stones around the girl's neck. And it was nice to see some jewelry because it's been a very jewelry-less season. Of course, I really thought the evening was the most beautiful. The black lace, be it black chantilly lace, the heavy black laces that are signature to Oscar and certainly signature to the season. It's all about black lace because it gives that pretty meets provocative sensibility. Oscar's just amazing when it comes to the beautiful evening pieces he creates. It's just one drama gown after the other. One of my favorite, with a big puff sleeve and a deep plunging V in purple. I think that purple and cranberry and all those lovely shades of berry look so right for the season ahead. And I'm loving when I see all those great colors coming together at one time. But for girls who are going out at night, Oscar's the door to knock on because he knows how to make you look amazing. My sense is some of those gowns are probably on their way to Hollywood right now, heading to the red carpet.
started out on a very depressing note. I found myself, like many other people, sort of homeless after Sandy, and it was time to do a collection. And after last season's very bold, very graphic, very black and white, op art, mod sort of celebration, we weren't feeling so graphic or so up, and I certainly was not in a good mood. So we looked at things that we were comfortable with, things like, shapes like bathrobes and pajamas, slips, dance dresses, just quite basic things, cable knit sweaters, Aran sweaters, things that were classic men's fabrics. Yeah, very, very, very known things that they felt very comforting. It's just what felt right. It just felt like we don't need so much information. Just show us the coat, show us the sweater, I don't know, there was just it was a relief to not have to take it apart and to think about it. It was just very there and done and no irony. It was just very straightforward. The set was inspired. I saw an exhibition, an installation by a great artist named Olafur Eliasson at the Turbine Hall at the Tate Modern in 2009, and it was called The Weather Project. And Olafur created this yellow orb, which emits this very low frequency light and takes color out of everything, except for yellow. And there was something so serene and so peaceful about it, and also so dramatic to see the world without color. So that had stuck in my head. Between the blizzard that kept our fabric from getting to us and our shoes, and the storm that, put me out of my home and many others out of their home, and other acts of weather and God, Mother Nature. Just sort of felt that the Weather Project, which was what that was called, was the perfect inspiration for the set.
My goodness, Marc Jacobs is really in a category of his own. He's really a great artist as well as a designer. I'm reluctant to start talking about tailoring and things like that because this was just too much of an experience, really.
We wanted to kind of just keep it quite simple and very strong and very glamorous. We showed the show twice, once in this low frequency light, so we took away all the color and showed you all the shades of gray, and then, again in the light to see, again, the hope and the optimism and the glamour of fashion, which brings everything to life in color, like it is, when Dorothy went from Kansas to Oz.